This is a Bruce production.
Alright guys, first thing you're going to do is take out the stud. As you can see, you want to get an extractor and take out the stud in order to fit.
What I did is I went ahead and zip tied all of those electric parts to the front to give myself a little space. So at this point, I got everything cleared out to install the turbo. If you look down there, that's the exhaust that I'm gonna have to end up connecting the downpipe to. I'm gonna probably just use some exhaust adapters until I get to that point. But as you can see down there, that's my actual OEM oil return feed line right there. Let me just go a little bit closer right here. So what I'm gonna do is being that this turbo is gonna be super hot, I went ahead and got a braided stainless steel line just so I can protect it. This is the part that's gonna go over to my actual turbo. Now, I could have used a joint like this and just kind of put that on there. But with the way that my turbo is set up, it's really hard for those joints to fit in there. So I just went ahead and used some tubing and I'm just gonna tighten that. But I mean, that's just as secure, if not even better than the joints. Sometimes you can have leaks from the joints. So I'm gonna put this end down there and that's gonna go to my turbo. I'm probably gonna end up cutting this to make it shorter. I just rather it be longer than me actually having to need more space. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and put this clamp right here and I'm gonna hook this up to that part right here. So what I did, guys, is I put a zip tie over this and some tape, and then I just went ahead and cut it with this right here. So as you can see, it's a clean cut. It's a clean cut right there. And this is what you can do to prevent it from shriveling up, so you can put it on there, have it be secured. So this is gonna be my oil return line pretty much. Yeah. I went ahead and put it on there. I'm not gonna clamp it yet, but as you can see, it's a snug fit. So this is gonna go right under my top mount turbo. The way that Precision put this oil drain line, as you can see, it's a tight fit. So I mean, most turbos won't have this issue, but as you can see, it's a tight fit, and I was not able to fit this actually in here in order to turn it. Just wasn't able to get something in there. I was gonna kind of make it look cute like that, you know what I'm saying? But I actually am a little bit more happy with this stainless steel braided line versus this one that I have right there. So I mean, I should be really secure. A lot of times people use like gaskets, but I used the one that had the rubber seal in the middle. That way it can secure it that much more. So yeah, so that's the oil return line. You won't be able to see this. It's gonna be at the bottom anyway, but as you can see, pretty secured. I don't think anything is coming out of there. So of course you always wanna get some new seals. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my exhaust manifold seal and put it on there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put on the exhaust manifold now that I know I have the clearance that I need. All right guys, as you can see, it's a pretty tight fit. You got to do a little wiggling to get the manifold in there, but as you can see, my goal now is going to be to tighten up those bolts at the top, and then I'm going to have some bolts that are going to be, you see right there, that hole at the bottom. So that's going to be the challenging part. or rather one of the most challenging part, being able to get the bolts in, because you definitely don't want any leaks. But as you can see, that's going to be the dump valve for that wastegate. The wastegates can get really hot just like your exhaust. So in that specific area, I have it wrapped, and it's a heat shield. It's normally for the downpipe, so I'm not too concerned. But if I wanted to, I could extend that dump valve all the way to the bottom of the car. But I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of do this for right now. And yeah, so now I'm gonna tighten up that exhaust manifold. Happen is this wastegate and this downpipe are going to follow down my muffler. So this wastegate is going to sit kind of like that. So when it's in my car, that's going to follow the actual exhaust down to the exhaust piece, and then that way I have both of them flowing, because you know, once again, those wastegates can get really hot. It's just like an exhaust. So I didn't really want to do that through the roof thing with my car. So I wanted to just kind of do something that made a lot more sense. So I have the other wastegate that's going to go from the front. I'm going to show you guys that, but this just to show you, this is how this one is going to kind of go when it's inside my car, to follow the exhaust. All right. I really want this one to be on point because it's under the turbo. So in order for me to get back to this one again, I'm going to have to take the entire turbo off. So I went ahead and sealed these off really good with some actual plumber's tape, or you can use a sealant, whatever you want. The two at the top been off, and like I said before, on this specific one, this is for water boost reference, and then this is going to be, as you can see, on the same side, the other side, you got water boost reference. So this is where I'm gonna run my boost, because it's gonna sit right there, and that way the down pipe won't be on top of this. All right, guys, so this is what I was talking about. As you guys can see, I have my wastegate at the bottom that's going to actually go down through the exhaust system to it, so it's going to be dumped there. I may eventually get another pipe and curve it or connect it, but my down pipe is going to go over that. That's what I was talking about when I was saying I'm going to have my dump pipe going down that way, and then my other dump pipe is going to come right over in this vicinity over here down to the bottom. And as you can see, this is going to be where I'm going to have my boost reference. It's coming from the back. I'm trying my best to keep it away from the exhaust manifold. Probably might end up putting something else on here, but as of right now, that looks pretty cool. All right, guys, so what I'm doing right now, as you can see, I zip tied my downpipe. I'm going to put my turbo on, and I kind of have everything figured out. What I'm going to do, once again, shout out to Lunchbox. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put the turbo on top. Guys, so so what I did right here, as you guys can see, if I scoot in there, let's see if I can zoom a little bit, focus. I started those screws, this screw right here. Let me back up so you can see it. And I started this screw first, because those are going to be hard to get to, because how close this is to this. It's going to be impossible for you to put it on because the stud is going to run all the way up here. So you got to start it first so that you can be able to put the turbo on. This won't be like this for every turbo, but the way that the precision made there is, as you can see, I'm not too concerned about these sides because I can just put those right on. And it's going to be these bolts and washers right here. So those are going to be the bolts and washers, but as you can see, I've already started this side so that I can be able to put it on properly. So far so good, guys. As you can see, I'm just tightening up the V-band. You want to make the V-bands accessible to where you can be able to assess it if you need to take the turbo off. So I'm thinking if I need to take off the downpipe or turbo off in the future, that's why I'm going to put it right here. Here's my O2 sensors, as you can see. So I have an O2 sensor right here. So this one is gonna go right here. Bring this one back under, around, and put it up there. And the manifold, as you can see, the manifold is in and the turbo is in right now. So now I'm gonna start put this other wastegate right here, and I'm gonna start running all of the lines. I'm gonna put this back together, and we're gonna start being ready to rock and roll and see some progress. Thanks. All right, guys, as you can see, I'm putting these in right here, kind of putting it back together a little bit. Just pop slide nose back in, and I'm gonna put the coil packs back in. So making progress, guys. Getting there. All right, so guys, now what I'm gonna do is, as you can see, I'm putting it back together, and I'm gonna put this wastegate right here. So I got my other wastegate right there, and I'm gonna put this one right here. So that one's gonna get dumped out into the atmosphere. You guys can see, gotta turn this and get it going. All right, so guys, so remember before, I have this O2 sensor right here. This fits fine. I'm gonna end up putting this one back in the housing, right? So this one is a little short. So I'm going to extend this one, and how I'm going to extend this one is I'm going to actually, they have extensions to where I can just kind of do it like that, but I'm actually going to just extend this wire. Any true car guy has an extra engine wiring harness, and this is for my other engine. But I, you know, sometimes I come to this and take parts off in case I break something if I'm working on something. Always good to have this. That way you can just kind of have all of the things that you need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get, let me find this O2 sensor wire. All right, guys. So I'm going to get this O2 sensor wire, and I'm just going to just splice the wires, and I'm going to extend it like that, pretty much. All right, let's go. All right, guys, as you can see, I successfully have extended my O2 sensor. This one was a little bit too short. This right here works dreams. This is about, can withstand up to 2,000 degrees. So if you have a wiring harness, or if you have something that you think you potentially need to, something that you potentially need to cover up, this is the real deal right here. So as you can see, I use that to wrap this O2 sensor. So now both of my O2 sensors going into my downpipe. So I'm really happy about that. So right now at this point, I'm thinking about wrapping this on it, but I have these spark plug covers as well that I might put it on there just for aesthetic purposes. Like right here, so I'm gonna check that out. But yeah, so far so good. All right, guys. So as you can see, that is my, at the top, that's my, excuse me. As you can see at the top, that's gonna be my oil. The bigger one is my oil return line, and the smaller one is my oil feed line. And as you can see, this is gonna be one of my dump valves. And that's gonna be my manifold from the bottom. So of course, we're gonna show you guys how I'm gonna hook all this up. I just want to kind of show you the bottom right there, so you can have a general idea of the stainless steel and how I'm gonna make it work. And I come around and show you guys the top. Oil feed and oil drainage at the bottom. So I'm getting ready to kind of put this somewhere. I'm probably gonna end up zip tying it right here, putting this here. And it's gonna feed right into there. All right, guys, so I went ahead and put in the oil feed line, showed you from the bottom to the top. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna probably put on my turbo blanket. So gonna put on a turbo blanket next. So far looking good. Got everything where I want it to be. Progress is coming along. Now it's time to put on that beast. All right, guys, so I just installed my turbo blanket. Right now I'm making a lot of progress, guys. I got this one little clip. That I'm still gonna put on the other side. And it's just gonna hold that part, but I got the back connected, as you can see. Got the back connected. I'm looking good so far, guys. I think I got the primary bulk of the car done so far. I'm gonna go ahead and do some catch can maintenance type stuff and start running the wiring in the N75, and looking pretty good right now. Looking pretty good. All right, guys, so as you can see, so far guys, turbo blanket, I got the O2 sensors in place, I got the dump valves in place. I pretty much have everything set up so far. So right now what I'm doing is I'm going to now connect the N75 valve, and also, as you can see right here, this is my catch can. Remember that part that I built in my previous video, and if you want to know about that part, look at this video right at the top. So this piece right here, I'm going to go ahead, which is the piece that goes to the PCV valve, which goes right over there, and this little slot right here, as you can see. So that piece right there normally would go to your factory turbo right over here. It's your pressure release. It's gonna run right back into the turbo and be recirculated. So I'm actually gonna connect that to my catch can. So I'm gonna have my traditional PCV going to my catch can, as you can see right here. So what I did is I got this fitting right here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put this fitting on like so. And so as you can see now, I'm going to be able to run my traditional catch can to right here. And then also I can have room for another fit, and I'm probably going to end up putting it right here and going around. I just need to figure out the best way. So I'm going to have this go in here, and then I can run this other hose fit in. I haven't put the pieces on yet. It's over here, so I'm probably going to just do it like that, or just whatever way looks better. All right. See, I went ahead and set up this joint right here. So over here by the yellow piece is where I'm going to actually cut at. So I'm going to cut right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come this way, and I'm going to bring it around here like this. And then I'm going to connect it right there. Alright guys, so this is the actual fitting on my wastegate at the bottom, the one I showed you guys previously in the video. I mean, essentially, like I said before, what I'm doing right now is I'm connecting all of my air lines, or rather my boost lines, and I just want to do it in a fashion where it looks good and aesthetic as well. So the one that I have for my wastegate that's at the bottom, I don't know if you guys can see it, is like right there. That wastegate right there. As you can see, that air line is right there. It's coming out from the top. So I'm bringing it around from right here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna have this kind of follow this, and then I'm gonna put this air hole in there. So that's gonna kind of, you know, from an aesthetic perspective, and just kind of keeping the air lines out the way, or the boost lines, hook this one up. So I'm just gonna basically, you know, put this one in here, but I'm just gonna kind of bring it around. And then this is gonna be my N75 valve that I was talking about. So this one right here, this piece is going to go to the turbo compressor side, right? And this T right here is the one that's going to the wastegates. So my car is still going to be ran by the N75 valve. This piece right here normally would go into the turbo, into the ambient air. It just will recirculate into the car. So I'm just gonna probably have this just open and stick it somewhere. It's just gonna breathe. It's not gonna be an issue. I also have another one that I'm gonna have to look into, and I did a video on it. So this line right here is gonna be, and it comes over here. Let me see. So this line right here is going to be my evap, you know, so my gas fume. So I'm going to probably recirculate it somewhere. And then this is the coolant line that went to my previous turbo. On the Precisions, they don't have coolant. So I just blocked off the block where this recirculates, and this goes to right here. So I'm just going to essentially block this off so I can just ensure the coolant doesn't circulate through the car. Other than that, guys, I mean, pretty much turbo hooked up, O2 sensors hooked up. As you can see, this over here is how I set the catch can up. I have this line coming from right here. This is where that traditional line coming from the PCV into the turbo that I did the video on about how it can dump oil into the turbo. So I have that one coming around here, and as you can see, I ported, or rather I connected to the out of the actual catch can, because traditionally this is going to shoot all the sludge in here, and then it's gonna go in here, and this is what recirculates back into the car. This doesn't even have to recirculate back into the engine. I can literally just block this off and, you know, let it go to the atmosphere. But a lot of times, as you can see, you can get a little bit of mist and residue from this. So I'm just putting that back into the car. Now, my question that I'm asking myself is, will this piece come in here interfere with this? I don't think so, because there's gonna be so much boost pressure coming this way. But and that's gonna just kind of push it all into here. If not, then I just can get a 3-port catch can just to kind of, that can vent to the atmosphere and go back, just to kind of resolve that issue. Yeah, so as you can see, it's always good to just secure the air lines just so they can, and this tape right here, and I'm gonna leave a link in the description, is for harnesses, but it can take up to about 2,000 degrees in temperature. So I always connect my airlines with this kind of stuff. So yeah, guys, it's coming along. It's coming along. Stay with me. All right, guys. All right, so as you can see, I went ahead and ran that airline right here, and I ran it right here. You can see the zip tie. And then I ran it right there to the wastegate. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is, this the one that's gonna go to the N75 valve. So to make this one look neat, I'm probably gonna tuck it under here, like so. All right. And then I'm just gonna kind of attach it right over here to this. And then that way I can come with the N75 and put it on N75, and I may end up putting the N75 maybe right here, or find somewhere to mount it. And then as you can see right down there dangling, these are gonna be the plugs. I may extend them if I need to, but these 2 plugs are gonna be, excuse me, for the actual N75, and the other plug is gonna be for the actual factory blow-off valve or diverter valve. So I'm gonna just hook that up. It's not gonna have a purpose, but just so I won't run codes, I'm gonna keep these things hooked up, and I'm probably gonna line them up right here or something. That way I can be able to plug it in or not plug it in. I mean, and ultimately, these are things you can tune out once you tune for it. But like I said, I'm just simply doing this for the subscriber so you can know what you can do with your platform. All right, as you guys can see right here, I'm setting up the intake cooler piping. So what I did is I bought a lot of aluminum pipings, and I'm pretty much gonna make a intake intercooler piping. So I'm really trying to go DIY for you guys. So if you guys are at home, don't have a fabricator, you can know how to do this. So as you can see, I got everything set up so far. I mean, the car is pretty much ready to kind of rock and roll. Once I'm done with the intake cooler piping, once I relocate the MAF over there, as you can see, I'm gonna have to do some magic right here. So I'm gonna do some cutting. And that's gonna be the intercooler part right there. I'm gonna come around this way. As you can see, that's on there. Of course, that's too tall right now. But yeah, getting ready to work some magic. So far, this is what I got. Once I'm done with this, I'm gonna eventually fabricate the whole thing to where it's gonna actually be all aluminum. But right now, it's for the sake of just getting this turbo build going. And this will work just fine, don't get me wrong. It's just only for aesthetics that I'm gonna probably fabricate it. So right now you can see, that's gonna be, this is gonna be my intercooler piping right there, where the oil is. Remember guys, I got a video on that oil. It's from the factory turbo. Make sure you guys watch that video. So I'm just gonna go ahead and squeeze it on in here. All right, guys, as you can see, here's gonna be where the piping connects to the intercooler. I went ahead and cut it to where it comes out right here. Got a small angle right there. And then it goes right up to the freaking turbo. So, got it, guys, I got it. So this is gonna be my piping. I left that little gap right there because that's where I'm gonna put this. So I'm gonna put the throttle body, or rather the blow-off valve right here in place of that. So that's why I left that gap right there. But yeah, it looks like I got it, guys. So once I put this on, I should be in good shape to go ahead and set this up. And then once I'm done setting this up, then I'm gonna go with the MAF relocation. Yep. All right, guys, as you can see, I have created an intake pipe for my big turbo going to my intercooler. So I had to do a lot of cutting with the pipe cutter that I showed you guys in order to make this happen. So as you can see, that's gonna go right over to my turbo. This is gonna go to the intake pipe. And this is gonna be the actual blow-off valve, the tile blow-off valve that I'm using for my turbo. And as you can see right over here, I have a line, and this is gonna be a boost line, and this is gonna go, this is a boost line, and this is gonna actually go to the back of my intake manifold, my IE intake manifold. If you're interested in putting that in your vehicle, feel free to just check out one of my videos. It's gonna be right up here at the top. So yeah, guys, this is gonna go straight there. So what's gonna essentially happen when I hit boost, this thing right here is gonna shut, and when I let off the throttle, it's gonna open. And so that's my blow-off valve. I'm still gonna utilize my N75 for my car, but like I said before in my previous videos, I am going to go with a aftermarket ECU, maybe Helltech to reach my 900 horsepower goal. But what I wanna do first is I just wanna show you guys what we can do with our factory cars. So yeah, so this is the intake piping that I made. Looks pretty good. Thank you guys so much. We got it coming. So we're gonna put this on. After this, I'm gonna relocate the mouth. And of course, once I'm done with everything, now this will work 100% with my application, but I am gonna eventually fabricate this. I may send this to Matt so he can have a template on what he needs to, if he wants to do intercooler piping. I'm not sure if he's gonna do that. I know he has a lot of people he collaborate with, but yeah, this is gonna be it, guys. So really appreciate it. All right, guys, so I'm gonna set up the intercooler piping in 2 sections. So because you really can't get it in unless you set it up in 2 sections. So this is gonna go at the bottom, and I'm gonna actually feed in the top part, in the top first to get right here. So yeah. Here we go. As you guys can see, I went ahead and hooked up the first piece of piping, and the second one comes down there. So now I'm gonna hook this one up, and as you can see, I'm gonna pretty much chase this around the whole car right here. All right, guys, looking really good, making some really great progress. So far, man, I got everything pretty much hooked up for the most part. I went ahead and fixed all of my hoses. I got my coil packs back in. Of course, I had to drain all of my oil from my car, so I have a new oil filter. Right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to work on the MAF relocation. Once I get the MAF relocation in line, I should be really good to go. All right, guys, as you can see, this is going to be a part of my charge pipe going to my intercooler. So this is going to be my actual blow-off valve. And then what I decided to do, guys, at first I was going to put my MAF extension over on the post, or rather right prior to my throttle body. But I just decided to go ahead for right now and put it right here. I know I got a lot of couplers on. Here. I don't want to weld and make it permanent unless I know that it works in the position. So this is a technique that I use. And don't get me wrong, this will work, but you just want more efficiency without having any ridges or breakthrough in the air. So there's a lot of people that run couplers and do what they have to do, but I'm going to actually make it all one piece as I showed you guys before. But I just want to go ahead and put my math right here. So it's going to come from my turbocharger down to here. It's going to get the instant boost first, and then once it gets that boost, it's going to go straight to the blow off, intercooler, then all around to the throttle body. And of course the blow off valve will control the boost to open it up once I let off the throttle, so all of the air and the back pressure can be released. So as you can see, I have my actual math here. So this is my math for my Audi. Now you want to make sure that the airflow is coming this way. I remember one time, a long time ago, I was running really rich, and it's because I accidentally put it backwards, right? So you want to make sure that the airflow, the way of the airflow, is where it catches it right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in right there. Once I put it in, I'm just going to screw it in and put it back on the car. All right, guys. So as you can see, this is my math sensor cord, and you can see where I just kind of extended it. I brought it over here. I brought it down here. And there's my mouth right there, guys. There's my mouth. So, looking pretty good. So I got my mouth, and if you look right here at my blow-off valve, that one's going up right here, right here, right here, and I just need to find a boost. All right, guys, so I just wanted to show you temporarily where I put some of this stuff. So this is gonna be my N75 valve. I'm going to end up just mounting that right here. As you can see, it's plugged in, and the reason I have the N75 plugged in is so I can still control the car with the boost from the ECU until I get an aftermarket ECU. And this is going to be my diverter valve. Now, I'm probably going to eventually tune these things out, because as you can see, I have a blow-off valve, which is essentially the same thing. But I have the factory one right here, and this is just so I don't throw any codes in my car. And just see what happens. You know, we're going to see when I start it up if the factory diverter valve senses something to where it doesn't work properly. Like I said, I'm the guinea pig. I got this cool little filter right here. No, it's white. Probably should have got red, but it is what it is. I'm going to put this in the car for the turbo. And yeah, we'll make it happen, guys. So far, guys, I mean, I'm pretty much at the tail end. Got everything hooked back together, fuel pumping line. So I'm going to put some coolant in my car, and I'm going to put some oil. I already put a new oil filter, drained a little bit of oil that I have, but everything pretty much came out when I worked on the car. And I might be ready to start it up, guys. I don't know, man. You know, a lot of times when people do these big turbo builds and put these turbos on their car, when they try to start it up, it's running rough. That first startup is just not good. So I don't know, man. I'm just kind of hoping that I get lucky, and I know the engineering of the car. I'm hoping I get lucky enough to where I can just simply hook everything up and start it up, guys. I appreciate everyone that's been on this journey with me. I'm going to really clean up the engine really well. Right now, this is just to get the car started, get it tuned, and yeah, guys, the journey is almost over. Alrighty. All right, guys, so I'm super stoked. I want to just first thank everyone who's been on this journey with me for this big turbo build. You know, guys, I'm just excited for the platform. I'm excited for all the people that I've met. You guys are like truly a family. So what's going to happen now is the next video. Yeah, I know, guys. So the next video
is going to be the start up video. So please like, subscribe, share. Let's get this out there. Stay tuned. The official startup is coming up. After we're done with the startup, then we're going to do the tuning. So if you guys want to do a big turbo, you have the template in front of you. If you need help, you can reach out to me. We're going to make this happen. We're going to make this rock. Startup video coming soon. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep the algorithm going. Thanks for all the love and support. This is Bruce with Bruce Custom Motors. Peace. I'm out.